Hello, Dino here again, and welcome to another series of the Limitless Hair Expert. Now, the subject today is why do your ends become thin and what you can do about it. What I mean about your ends of your hair, okay? So here's what I want you to understand. There's a few things that make your ends thin. It happens to a lot of us where the ends are very, very thin and sometimes you have to trim them off. But number one, sometimes your ends become thin because your hair is breaking. Couple reasons why your hair could break. It can just be breaking because somehow it's over-processed with some sort of chemical. And you would know it because when you feel your hair, especially when it's wet, it feels a little rubbery, all right? So always test your hair when it's wet. If it feels a little rubbery, it's over-processed. And when hair breaks from being over-processed, it causes the ends to look thin. Now, another reason is improper brushing. When you brush, and I said this in another one of our video series, you should always brush with a wide tooth comb or a wide tooth brush because it's less pressure. And as you're brushing through your hair or combing through your hair, if you get a little snag, you should come out, skim, and go deeper. If you plow through your hair, you wind up breaking little hairs here and there, and that causes thin ends. Now, there's another reason too, and that is the cycle of your hair. What happens to the cycle of your hair? Every hair on your head only lives to about 3 years. As you get older, that lifespan is shortened, but it only lives about 3 years. So you have hundreds of thousands of hairs on your head. Every individual hair has a life cycle of an average of about 3 years. After that's over, what happens is a new hair pushes it out, sort of like a tooth when you're a kid, a new one comes out, pushes the old hair out, and a new hair comes back in. All right? Now, because of that cycle, what happens is that you have shorter hairs growing in and still some longs next to it. That can cause thinner ends. But what's even more important is that when this life cycle happens of the hair having a 3-year life cycle, what happens is sometimes the new hairs that grow in that have pushed the old hairs out, they grow to a new established hair length. And what that means is that some hairs in your head are going to grow 3 inches, some hairs are going to grow 18 inches, some are going to grow 6 inches and stop, some are going to grow 12 inches and stop. So as you age, new hairs that are growing in establish a new maximum hair length. So you have all these different hairs saying, I'm stopping at 6 inches, I'm stopping at 20, I'm stopping at 16, I'm stopping at 12, etc., etc. Because different hairs establish new maximum hair lengths, what happens is that it causes your ends to be thin, okay? Now, how do you avoid that or how do you fix that? Number one, trim your hair. It's not good looking when your ends are really super thin. You should trim your hair, not necessarily for health reasons, but just for aesthetic reasons. Trim your hair where the bottom at least looks healthy, all right? And you won't have those very thin ends. Now, if you can't take that, meaning you say to yourself, I don't want shorter hair, I don't want to cut it, then you should look into some sort of hair addition. And if you look into some sort of hair addition, please be careful. This is another subject on another video because most, if not all, hair additions cause additional hair loss. So you got to be careful. But I invented a method that's the only healthy way to add hair that doesn't damage your hair at all. And if you want to look into that, you should go onto my website and look at videos in reference to that. Now, our quote, let's go to our quote for today. Our quote for today is by a guy named Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy states that your thoughts, okay, your thoughts in your mind create the results in your life, all right? So your thoughts in your mind create the results in your life. So please remember that because what it means is that what you think in your mind creates what reality happens, okay? What happens to you. So put good thoughts in your mind. When you put good thoughts in your mind, you then create good habits, all right? And good habits I'm going to explain something to you here. We are habit creatures. We do things by habit, okay? So thoughts are also part of habits. So you want to establish good thoughts, good thought habits. When you do that, it gives you more of a positive thought, it elevates you, it helps grow you. So please give that some thought. And stay tuned for our next video. It's going to be about why does your hair and added hair tangle and the solutions to counteract that or to counteract tangling. And I'll see you soon. Thank you.